What is up, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Anti-Gravity Group podcast. My name is Braden Carlson.
My name is Taylor.
My name is Shane, or as you might know me, Postart.
My name is Matthew, or you may also know me as Macho Matt.
And welcome to the 51st episode of the Anti-Gravity Group podcast. If you're not familiar, we released the 50th episode before the 49th because I thought it was woefully appropriate of how laid back the orchestration of this podcast is. And you guys are still here, so thank you for being here. And we actually, this episode's topic comes as a recommendation from Quentin, who is a Patreon supporter. And he wanted to hear us talk about high-power rocketry contests. So Taylor's probably going to have a lot of fun insight here because he went to every LDRS forever, basically. And that's usually when you'll see the craziest contests happening. But there are a few kicking around, so I've written some down. And basically, Macho Matt and Postart are going to get learned today about all the fun podcasts through rocket history. And what I'm going to do is assign you guys homework for the end of the episode. I want you to be thinking, and by the end of the episode, try to come up with a contest idea. All right?
Ooh. All right.
All right, ready to get learned up in here.
All right. Well, Taylor, is there anything that immediately springs to your mind that you got to throw out there first?
Not really. I mean, yeah, just I'll fill in the gaps.
All right. Sounds good.
Good start.
Well, I decided to go ahead and kick it off with the contest of all contests back in the day, the Carmack Prize, which was not really just like an exclusive to Tripoli sort of contest. It was just sort of for anybody involved with hobby or amateur rocketry. But John Carmack, who founded Armadillo Aerospace and also happened to be the guy who created Doom, the game Doom, that John Carmack, he threw it out there that if anybody could get an amateur rocket to 100,000 feet, he was going to give them $5,000. And then it wound up getting some people ended up throwing some prize money at it as well. So I think the final prize was a little over $10,000. And it's pretty crazy that like people really went for this. Like 100,000 feet was a task back in the day, and now it feels like everybody has a 100,000 foot project just on the back burner. But it was ultimately, I believe, Derek DeVille's rocket Quake, which is just a really great video on YouTube of that flight. Technically got there first, but there was some GPS data issue, so it was actually won by Team Aeropack in 2012, which is the club that hosts Balls and all the other launches out at Black Rock. But yeah, so the Carmack Prize is a pretty interesting thing to see. There wasn't really much like that going on at the time, but there is kind of a modern version of it happening now, which is it kind of took the bar of 100,000 feet, which seemed like really non-feasible for 90% of the rocketry world, and moved it into this modern setting in high-powered rocketry. And it's Aerotech's Space Challenge, which is a very similar thing. It's a $10,000 prize, and you have to put a rocket into space. 100 kilometers is just about 328,000 feet, and you have to use Aerotech motors. They've just developed this, what is it, Shane? The M2700, 3700?
27.
And it's full M, or maybe accidentally a baby N, 75 millimeter. And actually, congrats to Art Hogue, who just got, they just announced that he's the new head of the Tripoli Motor Testing Committee. So if they test that thing in Colorado, it probably is going to be an N.
Is that how that works?
I think so.
I thought it was the other way.
Oh, yeah, maybe it is the other way.
Because Gary's always talking about, well, since they're at a lower
Oh,
altitude.
right,
It
because-
may be.
Yeah,
Is it
because
is it
TMT
air-
was at sea level.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Dang. So maybe it's going to be like a 97% M instead of
But
99.
it's pretty crazy. Test TMT being like it. Was it? Does he live in Denver? I don't know. Like
Somewhere out there. Yeah. But that's actually
at least 5,000 feet. We'll say.
Californians
That-
rejoice though. It sounds like that means the M1939 gets to stay in M. Don't go look at the total impulse of that motor. Nobody ask any questions on that.
But that would make quite a bit of difference in impulse
Dude,
going.
and that's,
I mean, compared to sea level.
Postart has been pretty attached to that motor lately, so it seems like he wants to give it a shot.
What motor?
Yeah, I ran it, the M2700. I made
Oh.
some like rough, stupid sims with it just to see like what it would do, and just a basic minimum diameter rocket. RAS Arrow was saying like 56,000 feet.
And that's Nigel the Rocket Cat chewing on Taylor's mic. Is that noise that you're hearing? Everybody say hi, Nigel. Nigel's actually going to come up towards the end of this episode. We'll get to that when we get to that. Yeah, so Shane, the speed on that was actually what kind of surprised me, or lack thereof. I thought it would be way gnarlier, but wasn't it under Mach 3?
Yeah, it was showing Mach 2.7.
Which is nothing. Am I right, boys?
Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah.
Postart's getting a pretty good warm-up at that speed. Just a little under.
Yeah, not
But,
quite there, but close.
The 5-inch Punisher on the 03400. That's supposed to go 2.6, right?
2.3.
Oh, yeah. Easy, dude. That's so easy.
Yeah.
That's nothing. Right, Taylor?
Yeah. Yeah. Super nothing.
Yeah, it was really, really easy. Matt's done Mach 2.3.
I have.
No, but, we believe in you. We think you could.
Thank you. Someday.
Tomorrow?
Yeah.
I'll try it tomorrow. Thanks.
Okay,
At
yeah,
work.
go for it.
In the bathroom.
Yeah, to bring this back in the Aerotech challenge, I believe it has to be a 5500 booster, and then it's going to need to be that motor or whatever else they're developing for that case, because the total impulse has to be under P. It's a pretty tall order. However, I have to feel like Kip's rocket was a pretty hefty inspiration for it as a concept, no?
Yeah. I feel like
Probably.
293,000 feet, also under P impulse. So yeah, that's gonna be sick. I can't wait to see people starting to try that. And if enough people go to rocketvlogs.com, purchase some merch. I mean, we're gonna need to sell a ton, but if we sell like 400 shirts, we'll try it. You guys down?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we'll prove later this week that 2 stages are easy, right?
Yeah, dude, no problem. Dude, if we had an imaginary unlimited budget and we were gonna try that, first person I'm calling is Jim Jarvis. Like, yo, we gotta
Yeah.
keep this thing going straight, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be insane, dude. I'm excited to see people try it, but
Yeah,
honestly,
it's a long stack though. That's the only thing that I feel like it's going to make it difficult.
right.
Um,
But I mean, like craziest. I mean, the Aeropack rocket that won the Carmack prize was an N1000 to an M685, and there's
Yeah,
a
I
lot of
can't
odds
believe-
stacked against you for boosting with a long burn motor.
Yeah.
and I mean, yeah, double long burns is your chances
Insane.
of coning on that flight. I don't understand how it actually made it to that altitude, but
Almost guaranteed.
it was just like the perfect flight.
But yeah, so 2 stages are easy, as somebody actually suggested for an episode when I asked on Patreon for suggestions, they were like some tips for high altitude and high performance stuff. I was like, let's maybe wait till after balls, see how our flights go, and then maybe we could talk about that on an episode. Are you going to make the charges for the 2-stage, Taylor? Oh, you're flying, right? So no.
Yeah, I was thinking they're probably not going to love that, so I'll just have to.
I think it'll be
make
fine.
them there.
It'll be fine. Yeah. Okay.
But
we'll
I'm just
bring all this
doing
stuff.
glove tips in the booster.
Yeah, I just want you to make the sustainer ones, since all my tube charges blow the side out.
Are we doing vinyl?
Well, I assume so.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, we'll get that situated. You want to fill in the gap here with a contest you can think of?
I mean, there's been a million variations of the like a mockbuster challenge, you know, where you like back in the day, sometimes it was just like, you know, go over Mach 1 or go over Mach 2. I don't know. Like, I think at LDRS 22, there was how fast can you go or something.
Yeah.
The mock busting challenge or something like that. I can't exactly remember what it was called, but
Yeah,
those are always fun. I mean,
it seems too easy now, which is dumb to
I
say.
know.
But I feel like the
you-
mass resources of everybody's shared info on how they do composite stuff and just like off the shelf composite parts being really affordable now comparatively. Like, you just, some idiot can take a bunch of pieces he's got laying around and cut some fins out and glue it on with JB Weld and go Mach 2, and it'll just work.
Yeah,
Some
I think you would
dumb,
need to
stupid
do
idiot.
like you need to do like a Mach 3 challenge or something at like a normal launch that's not at BlackRock.
That pretty heavily limits your motor selection. It's like has to be a 98s or an M2245.
I think you could do it with some of those Loki motors.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
You could definitely do it with the M1378.
Doesn't a Submin L1000 get over Mach 3?
I mean,
If
I don't
it's
think
short.
so.
allegedly, but also Thomas's rocket supposedly went Mach 3, but it was literally just a fin can on an L1000 case and a nose cone that was the
Yeah.
same diameter, and it was only like a foot longer than the motor itself.
Yeah.
The Boosk, shout out to the Boosk, who we're going to hear about in a little bit because I haven't told any of you guys, but there's a new segment to the Anti-Gravity Group podcast, which we'll get to later. That does actually bring us to a good one, which I'm super, super excited about. And I wanted to throw in some contests from the past and from the present. This episode will be coming out the Monday after Balls has come and gone, but Loki and Scott Cormeyer is hosting a contest at Balls this year. It's an altitude contest with the 54mm M1378. And there's a lot of extremely hardcore projects in the pipeline trying to take that win.
Is it just how high can you go?
Yep. Has to be recovered. And that second part, some people really took that as a challenge too. Like, oh, you want to see it get recovered, huh? No shot on that one. But okay. So yeah, I'm pretty excited to see that. We're gonna revisit that here in a little bit as well. But you mentioned LDRS 22, Taylor, the how fast can you go mock busting thing that was covered on LDRS. Another thing, or on the Discovery Channel's LDRS coverage, Rocket Challenge, that's what it was called. That same LDRS, there's a contest in there that I really, really want to see make a comeback. And it was like, I think they were 5.5-inch rockets, but everybody just...
They were just, so the contest was called From the Ground Up, and they split people, or you had, I don't know, you had like 4 teams of like up to 4 people, we'll say. I can't remember the exact like whatever. But and then it was sponsored by PML, and each team had a pool of parts, but they weren't all the same parts. They just had like, it was all similar stuff. So this one team may have a 6-inch phenolic airframe and like a elliptical nose cone, and another team may have like maybe they were all 6-inch stuff, but they had like different nose cones, and I think they all flew on like 54 millimeter Pro 54 motors, motor eject. But yeah, you had to like fully build a rocket from a pile of parts in like, I don't know, 2 hours or something.
It had to be painted too.
Did it?
Yeah,
Can't quite remember.
they were all bringing them to the pad with like hands covered in wet paint.
Oh,
It's awesome, dude. I want
But it
that
was
to make a comeback.
So it was like, yeah, you build it from the starting point of a pile of parts to like who can fly it and bring it back successfully recovered first. It's an awesome contest. Or I mean, like, it was such a cool idea, but like it's kind of a nightmare to host. So I that's why no one's ever done it since then, I think.
Yeah, the logistics of it, just like setting that all up sounds kind of like a nightmare, but yeah, it's super like, I remember when I was young when that was on TV in like 2000, I guess it would have been 2004 probably when they actually aired it. So I was like 9. I was like, this is the coolest ass I have ever seen in my life. I need to go do that. And then like in my head, that's just like how all big rocket launches were. There's just like crazy contests and like fun stuff happening all over the place.
There were more contests back in the day, I feel like, though. Not that definitely was the only time that happened, though. But yeah, I definitely dreamed about doing that as well.
Dude, we just need to talk to our vendor friends and get some ass rolling here. Okay, but yeah, so that one was really, really cool. And then Bob Brown told us about the next year they did something similar, but I can't remember what was different about it. But hopefully somebody can chime in. So it would have been the Airfest after LDRS 22, so it'd be what, 2004, correct? So
yeah, I thought maybe he just talked about it. I can't remember. Like, they talked about doing something similar.
yeah, it's fair. I can't remember things that happened 20 minutes ago, so I shouldn't be trying to recall things we were told last year.
I remember that conversation we had with Bob, though. But I remember talking to him. I don't remember really. I can't remember the end of that story. But anyway.
All right, I'm gonna call on the class here. Matt or Postart, can one of you guys tell me what you think the alphabet challenge is?
oh, I think I actually know what it is.
Yeah, I think I
All
know
right,
what it
well-
is too. Braden.
All right, well, let's see if Matt's got it.
Is it you have to launch a rocket with each impulsive motor?
Give yourself a round of applause there, Matt.
Oh my!
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah.
No, that's a really bad one, but yeah, thanks.
I had a feeling Postart had that one locked down, but we're proud of you, Matt. Good job.
Thank you.
Dude, that always sounded really fun to me too. And then like
Yeah.
Same.
Ari Krupnik, he did the blue tube rockets. He did a 4-inch blue tube rocket that, like, I think that one rocket flew G through N in one weekend at Balls one year. And I was like, that is the coolest thing I've ever seen. I really want to do that. And then I like started thinking about, like, once you get past like the compounding expense of having a motor at each impulse level gets absolutely insane, dude. You're just like, by the time you get K through N, you've spent like $4,000.
Yeah, and it's just like the flights aren't going to be that different at that point. I mean, not that it wouldn't be cool, but that's a lot of flights back to back.
Yeah, and my ultimate fascination with the alphabet challenge comes in the form of doing all of it with one rocket. Like, you can only go so low, of course, and have something that's going to survive an N, or you could cap the impulse at like K and be like, oh, okay, but it has to fly on an A motor as well.
Yeah, that's the tricky part.
That's what
I
would
feel
make
like-
it fascinating to watch people do.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway.
I mean, I don't have much to add to that. Another favorite is which we saw at LDRS last year is, or at least some variation, but closest to 1 mile, 2 mile, 3 mile, etc.
Yeah. Which Taylor actually won. Well, you got second place, but you wanted second place because the prize was better.
Better for me.
And that rocket kit went the way of the Matt and Postart collection.
Sitting in the box
with the Beaumark and the Hercules.
Nice.
Unbelievable.
Hey, if I had a full Hercules kit, that thing would be built. But
that's what they all say.
Actually, maybe not, because it would probably be a nightmare also.
Yeah, like the Beaumark.
Yeah.
I was about to say, what if you had a full Beaumark kit?
Actually, this is getting off topic, but I saw a really good build on the Beaumark the other day, and it's not as scary as I thought, so I'm feeling a little bit better about it.
All right, well, that sounds good. Get that built right after you post another video on YouTube, right, everybody? Speaking of which, actually, Postart just put a new video out. That's 2 weeks in a row, Taylor.
Wow.
I did.
You're getting left in the
And
dust
they're-
right now.
Well,
Assuming I get it done, there's another one coming out this Friday.
Have you started it?
Yeah.
Oh, so it's not too bad. Should
No.
have a chance. Andy's going to have a whole video on putting an O motor in his level 3 rocket a month after he got his level 3.
Yep.
That is the most chaotic S on the planet, but shout out to Eric Beavers for making that one become a reality. Which, you got to build that motor still.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll live stream building the 03400. That'd be kind of fun.
Yeah.
Are you doing that
Supposedly-
tonight?
I don't know. We'll see. Tonight, tomorrow night.
Yeah,
Who
yeah,
knows?
something like that.
Supposedly, according to like the instructions that I was able to find online, it's not as scary as I thought.
Yeah, it looks like it just might be gluing it into the liner.
Yeah. But we'll see.
Which is interesting that it came with its own adhesive kit. That's what makes me think there might be something we're missing here.
Yeah.
So anyway, the 1 and 2 mile contest. My dad actually won one of them, which is how we wound up with. I think he won 1 mile and 2 mile at the Tripoli Idaho launch one weekend because he got like an old MissileWorks RSC2 Mini and then a Dr. Rocket 38720 case, which is pretty crazy. I don't remember. It was somebody had donated a bunch of old stuff they had to the club, so they just gave it away.
Yeah.
Which brings us actually to the next, which is one of my favorite contests, by the way. You don't see it done a lot, and it shouldn't be one of my favorites because an absolute tragedy happened when I decided to partake. But Rocketry Punkin' Chunkin', dude. It's a good time. Basically, they brought a bunch of small pumpkins, small enough to fit inside, say, a 4-inch Wildman Punisher. And the concept was that you fly them as high as you can. I believe you got 1 point for every foot per pumpkin that was inside the rocket. So you could fly a rocket to 1,000 feet, but if it was a big rocket and you could fit 10 pumpkins in it, you got 10,000 feet. So I was like, you know what? Give me a couple of those guys. This will be fun. My rocket's supposed to go like 20,000 feet, so I'll just put a couple in there. They did have some ground rules. They were like, if you're not convinced that they're going to stay attached to the rocket, we would like them to have parachutes on them. So I taped the S out of them to my shock cord, and then if you're not familiar with the story of my 4-inch Punisher, that was the last time I saw it. It's actually really funny because Kelsey Black, shout out to Kelsey, he's an Idaho Rocket guy. He was in first place, was 5-inch Wildman Jar, and he flew on a K1999. And I was like, I should beat this pretty easily. And he's like, unless you pie. And then my rocket came in ballistic. And I was like, yeah, that was fun, dude. Oopsie, pie.
You think the pumpkins had something to do with it?
No.
I don't actually. But yeah, so I didn't just pie the pumpkins. I pied my 4-inch Punisher. I pied a Rouse Tech 5120 pied a couple altimeters, Rocket Man chute. A lot of fun, expensive things to put in the ground. Goodbye 5120. Matt, did you watch my newest video?
I need to. I just haven't had the time yet.
Well, I threw a little 13's about 13 action in at the end, so I think you're gonna enjoy it. So Taylor, you were there for all of this. I can't really speak to this. Why don't we talk about bowling ball lofting for a second?
Yeah, man, that used to be the staple of LDRS put on by the Arizona Rocketry guys. And there was many variations. I think you had K heavy, which was 16-pound bowling ball with a K motor limit to get max altitude. And then there's a K light, which is 8-pound bowling ball, same thing, just terrifying. And
there was I-motor classes too, wasn't there? Why the I-1299
then they went
exists?
to then they went to I-motor light, which is how we ended up with the I-600 and I-540. And then they went to H-motors, but I think H-motor was duration every time they did that. And that's how we got the H999.
Duration contest, we should clarify. The worst thing ever in my mind.
Yeah,
I can't
awful.
imagine wanting to do it. But the concept, Matt, it looks like you're unfamiliar, is...
Yes.
Well, actually, you did a really good entry with your mini-mag. Basically, you put way too big of a parachute in and just try and keep it in the air for as long as possible.
Yeah, that
It sounds
fun.
terrible.
Sounds
At
so
Black
fun.
Rocket wouldn't be too bad, I guess, or like Gene, if you weren't flying that high. But
the thing with the H motors is like they only went a few hundred feet, so I mean it wasn't that bad.
That's true. Dude, it's too bad because I just got that 16-foot like ultra lightweight Iris.
Yeah, I know. That would be perfect.
Just cram that under the bowling ball.
I remember at LUS 25 in Texas, like it must have been a 16-foot shoot or something, but it was just catching thermals all day, going up and stuff. Like it was in the air for like 15 minutes.
Oh,
crazy.
How far away did it get?
Not that far away. It was just like a perfect day.
Dang.
Yeah.
Does that sound interesting to you, Matt? You want to enter some duration contests?
Yeah, I could do that. Somehow.
You already have practiced, so I mean, you have a good chance at it.
Yeah.
Imagine if we could put the C9 in the Arcus. That'd take a good
my
while.
God.
It wouldn't look as cool, but
Or we could put the C9 just like in Taylor's sumo.
Oh my God.
That would look ridiculous.
Dude,
I don't
that thing
think it
would
would-
never come home.
I don't know if
Yeah.
there's enough. You think it would open? Yeah, probably. I guess it opens pretty easy.
Yeah.
Could you, for the duration contest, could you like create like a little hot air balloon with the parachute? You know,
I think probably not.
I mean, if it was the Arcus last time, maybe.
Yeah, that. Jeez. Philip. You imagine if the fin can had just stayed on fire?
Oh,
We're like,
man,
yeah,
that would
look
have
at
been
it
terrible.
go. And then it's just burning on the way down.
We're like, oh man, look at that smoke grain. It just keeps burning. And it's actually just
That's
our rocket
crazy.
burning up.
That would have been sad.
Oh, good lud. But yeah, I've said it before on the podcast. It's a little weird that people look back so negatively on bowling ball lofting. They're like, dude, can you believe we used to do that? Because let me ask you something, Taylor. How much nose weight's in that sumo that's behind you?
I think like 4 pounds.
Yeah, I think
The
my
whole
V2
nose cone weighs 7 total, so you're not far off.
Yeah, my nose cone for the V2 with the electronics on it weighs like 14 pounds or something like that. It's like half the weight of the rocket. So like, I mean, I get it. It's also 8 inches in diameter. So Shane, what's the diameter of bowling ball?
7.5.
That's what I thought. So you could just put a bowling ball in my V2. I could have done that instead and just popped the main at apogee all the time. In fact, actually, the Gates Brothers Sumo that now belongs to our friend Bryce uses a removable and adjustable bowling ball weight system. So the Gates Brothers rockets, or that particular rocket, actually happens to own the clustered O-motor bowling ball altitude record, which I don't know if there's any specific rule against it happening, but it seems like the general consensus is we don't do that anymore. So I don't think anyone's gunning for it. All I'm saying is if there was a chance, we could demolish it with the 12-inch Punisher.
Yeah. Wait, maybe it's 8.5.
No,
Yeah, because
I
I
don't
remember
know.
some.
It's one of the
I remember
two.
some 7.5-inch rockets that were like before people got really crafty with it, but where people
Oh
would
yeah,
just,
they would just drop them on top.
yeah, and also like some people put them in the middle, so it was just like tube and then like a bowling ball that was just kind of just sticking out.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. I think they covered some of the bowling ball stuff on Rocket Challenge on the LDRS 22
Yeah, I think
coverage.
they did.
Okay, well, you have any other contests for us, Taylor?
Oh, like spot landing. That happens sometimes.
Oh yeah, that's a tough one. You got to be
Yeah.
kind of strategic with it. They kind of did that with the. I mean, it was drones, but with the Argonia Cup.
Oh yeah.
In the Argonia Cup, they are actually doing golf ball lofting now, and some of the rockets had like 25 pounds of golf balls in them. So again, this kind of returns to my argument that maybe the bowling ball thing's not as bad as some people
especially-
make it out to be.
It would be
Bowling
cool to
balls
do.
will-
Sorry.
One bowling ball could only hit one thing. But you've got to
Yeah,
have like 100 golf balls that could hit 100 things.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I like that.
You could hit one car or all of them.
Yeah.
It's just like hail, right?
Yeah. There was golf ball size hail at the rocket launch.
Because they're golf balls.
Golf ball shaped, and they just really looked like golf balls. It was crazy. Anyway, what were you gonna say, Taylor?
I just that it would be cool to do a like the spot landing, but like you have some sort of a multiplier based on altitude for scoring points, or I don't know, like so I don't know. I didn't think it through all the way. Never mind.
Well, it would be really interesting to see that kind of a contest now, though, because like that guy at NSL flew. Apogee sells a steerable ram air parachute for high power rockets that it's RC, but the guy set it up with I don't know what, but it knew where its home point was and automatically steered the rocket back to where it took off from, and it landed like 100 feet away from the targeted area or whatever. So imagine just like setting a bunch of college kids free on that and just being like, here's what you got to do. Land this ram air rocket on this point. I think there'd be some pretty crazy stuff. Okay. You guys have heard about these contests. Shane, Matt, I want you guys to pitch a contest right now.
All right.
You want to go first or me?
You go first.
All right. I didn't pick a motor, but highest altitude with a certain motor, whatever is set, and the rocket has to be scratch built and it can't be round.
Oh, interesting.
That's a new take.
Does that so you could use like a square tube, or does it have to be like a pyramid?
Both of those would work. Neither are round.
What if you make a spool, but the end plates are just like half an inch bigger in diameter than the rocket? How small can you go on the diameter of the spool ends relative to the center and still have it work?
They need to be like man, I knew this the other day.
Keep it going, Braden. Keep it going.
Isn't it like 1.5?
That's what I was
Is
thinking.
it 2?
But I was
It's
like,
somewhere
it
around
might
there.
be 2.5.
Oh, maybe.
I'm gonna say 2.5. That's the final answer.
All right.
The
Matt,
audience
what's
is
your
fun.
contest?
Okay, I have one ridiculous one and one not so ridiculous one.
Matt's a little quiet.
Yeah. Wait, am I quiet right now?
No, you gotta get in there. Eat the mic, dude. Okay, well, let's not get too out of
Okay.
All right. Okay. So here's the ridiculous one. I'm not sure what impulse, or what altitude, but whoever can land the lowest without lawn darting the rocket.
Oh my god.
That's the joke. That's
Oh.
a joke. Who has the
like
lowest?
open the chute the lowest?
Be like
Oh,
back
A
in the
low
day
pull
when,
contest.
Yeah.
like back in the
Yeah.
way back in the day when we flew rockets with my dad in the park and we ran out of C63s and C65s, and so we just said, let's
Throw
use
the
up these
sevens in.
C67s. And they were like, oh, that's awesome, we don't have to walk as far. And there's just coming in ballistic and then putting the chute out like 50 feet off the ground. We're like, this is awesome. Then we found out about zippers, and we didn't do that anymore.
So that's my ridiculous one. My more like realistic one would be basically the same thing. It's not super creative, but the same thing as the bowling ball or the golf ball launches, but with water, and somehow having the most amount of water in the rocket, the highest it can go, and still have it all when it comes back.
Okay, so you would have to like measure it first and then
Yeah.
measure it after the
Like
flight.
maybe there would have to be some cap or something that
Water balloon lofting. How about that,
Yeah.
huh?
Oh,
There you
here
go.
we go. Water balloon
Oh,
target
no.
landing.
ooh
Oh, that's going to go poorly.
yeah.
Guaranteed.
What do you mean?
but less damaging than golf balls or bowling balls.
Yeah, but a water balloon coming down from 1,500 feet is still that's gonna hurt.
It's like a
Nah,
heavy,
it's
rain.
fine.
It's not gonna hurt, but you're gonna get wet.
Yeah, and it's hot.
Oh,
What
it's hot
if
down
we let's just take the like the Arcus payload and put like 100 water balloons in there.
that would
Dump 'em on
everybody would love
everyone.
that.
yeah, that
It would've
sounds
been-
fine.
Yeah.
So that's my thought.
Well, we appreciate it, Matt. Those are
Thanks.
great. Just get a little closer to the microphone, please.
Okay.
All right. Well, there is two actually. We're still not sure of the logistics or if this is actually going to work out in time for LDRS, but we do have 2 contest ideas. We're not sure how we would manage hosting them because we usually have a lot of rockets to fly. But the first one is the Fly High Nigel contest, where you come and get a Nigel the Rocket Cat sticker from us, and whoever flies their rocket the highest and recovers it with the Nigel sticker fully intact wins something. And then one that specifically we would need to team up with Tim and Wildman for, but I've had this concept for a Punisher punishment contest for quite some time. And I think I've dialed in how I would want it to work. You have a waiver, right? That's it. That's the waiver. You can't break that, obviously. The only constraint of the contest is the waiver. You can use any size Punisher, any size motor, but you have to have an altimeter with an accelerometer on it. And whoever brings us a post-flight Punisher fully recovered with the most G's on acceleration wins.
Wait, I thought it was altitude.
No, I was talking about it before, but this is what I've decided is cooler. The other option was top speed. But
I think
most
G's is
acceleration
better.
sounds
Yeah.
fun.
I don't know
Yeah,
if
I
you.
think
But
acceleration also
so
was
just for
more
example, if
portable.
we do it at LDRS, isn't I think the waivers 16,000.
Right.
That's sort of an in between that would kind of be perfect if we did an altitude contest with Punishers, because that's sort of an in between altitude that's hard to hit with a Punisher.
Yeah, but
So
everybody
it'd
would
make it
bring a
pretty-
3-inch Punisher with a K-1275.
Yeah, but there's ways to there's ways to get it to go higher than that.
So maybe you
Well,
can
that's
skew
when-
it. You could skew it to be the smallest Punisher to achieve the highest. Like you could somehow skew the scoring based on that.
Yeah, well, initially my plan was for it to be 3-inch Punishers, and then it was altitude outright closest to the waiver, and then we try and get the prize to be like a 4-inch Punisher, because that's kind of just a perfect progression. But that's pretty restrictive because K-1275s are extremely expensive, and not everybody can afford to just buy a 3-inch Punisher anyway. But it opens it up to a lot more people if you can include the Punisher Super Sport, and then you get people digging out I-800s and stuff that they've got kicking around for a decade. And all you got to have is a Flight Sketch Mini or a Raven or a whatever the Easy Mini or Egg Timer stuff with an accelerometer on it is. And everybody has a level playing field. You could do a 5-inch Punisher on M4500. You might be pushing it a hair in California in terms of the waiver, but you could do it. So I think it's a more open playing field.
There just aren't that many motor options. And
That's the tough part. What about your beloved K2050?
well, yeah, but I don't know. To score it, we would have to like you need some altimeter with good resolution for G's, because they're all going to be pretty, like they're going to be close.
Yeah.
So then we're going to like, oh, you have to have a Blue Raven or whatever. Or
Well, the water can always be
telemetrum.
muddied. You're like, oh yeah, the barometer on this Egg Timer altimeter is not as high quality as the one on this Blue Raven in theory. So is that really how high it went? Is that really how fast it went?
Well, altitude is going to be closer than like an accelerometer that with bad resolution.
Is it though? Do egg timer accelerometers have a bad resolution? Does the flight sketch one? Does anybody know? What does this world come to?
How do you retrieve the data from those?
How does a rocket work?
How does a rocket work? And an
What is
accelerometer.
air?
True.
Yeah.
It depends. The Blue Raven, you can just get it with the app. Egg timer stuff, I don't know. The Flight Sketch Mini also has an app. I got another one. That way I can lose it, just like my last one.
I'm pretty sure my Jolly Logic has an accelerometer in there too. Oh, it's accelerometer based. Yeah.
Wait, is it actually?
Yeah.
Oh, but there's no
Yeah.
accelerometer data.
There is. It does record max G's at takeoff, I think.
Well, there you go.
There we go. There we are. There you have
We
it.
can just
folks.
weed out data that's obviously wrong. And somebody
Yeah.
brings us a 2-inch Punisher with a 38 and they flew it on an H550. And it's like 197 Gs. We'd be like, well,
Wow.
clearly not, right?
Did it launch into a ceiling? Into a rock?
Anyway, that's my pitch. And if you don't like it, you can go enter a different contest, I guess.
How about we have a two anti-gravity group contest. We got the Taylor and the Braden edition.
The punishment showdown. Like,
Yeah.
dude, I'm going to have a revolution on my hands. I'm going to be like, yeah, all the rich people over there that can afford K-1275s just kissing each other.
Oh man.
We're over
No.
here in the trenches.
The trench. Jeez.
Well, what if you took a Punisher Super Sport and put a J570 in it? How high would that go? Probably only like 10,000. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. K-1275s cost what, $9,000 now? It's a lot of money. All right, well, those are our contest ideas. The Nigel one seems like nobody took any issue with, but the Punisher one seems to need some refinement. But I think of any of them, the Nigel one is the most likely for us to actually execute at LDRS. And I'm thinking the way that it would work best for us to still be able to fly rockets is just one day. You have one day to enter this contest. Even like a 4-hour window or something like that. Like opens at noon, you have till the waiver close at 5 or whatever. If the rocket's not back by then, you don't get entered.
That seems fair.
And the Nigel stickers are $275 because there's got to be some back end here.
Cool. We're gonna have a lot of
after
interest.
all that about the affordable Punishers. Oh yeah, and it's super expensive to enter because the prizes are really good.
Yeah. It's an idol.
But yeah, I think it'll be fun. It'll be interesting too because you can't damage the sticker, right? So you can't just.
Didn't we also talk about like you can't clear code over it?
Yeah, you have to put it on at the launch. We have to watch you put the rocket on when you sign or put the sticker on.
We're gonna need to test though, make sure that the sticker doesn't just disintegrate.
Nah.
I mean, you saw Matt's on a J800. It was still there, mostly.
I guess if they all fall apart, it would make it more fun to see who has the most intact with the highest altitude.
You
I
can like weigh the stickers.
was thinking maybe I'd outsource the sticker production on this one.
It's a good call.
I think you should either create. Oh, so you're not going to create new ones, right? I think you should sign them or do something like that to where they can't just pull out a spare one.
No, yeah, they'll be
Oh.
made specifically for the contest.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there you go.
So a different size or whatever, something we
No
haven't
cheaters.
done before. Yeah. I like where your head's at though, Matt. Never trust anyone for anything.
Yeah. Taylor, can I borrow
Um,
your 7680 case? Your 3840 case.
Oh,
You for
3480.
sure cannot, and no one can borrow my 7680 case.
Oh, okay. Dang it.
And Matt can't borrow any cases.
Cool. Love that clause.
Okay. Now we're gonna pop in here for the newest segment of the Anti-Gravity Group podcast. Are you gentlemen ready? Let's see if it's gonna let me do this. It's not, so give me 1 second here. I definitely thought this was just going to be fine, but it wasn't, so one moment, please.
I'm gonna
anyway,
guess.
I've been trying to come up with some ways to have some more audience participation, and I think it's the most fair for our audience participation to prioritize those who are paying for the privilege to see behind the scenes content and stuff like that. So that boils down to channel members and Patreon supporters. You can join the channel by clicking the join button below the YouTube video, or you can go to patreon.com/rocketvlogs to become a member. And we're going to circle right back here to the M1378 contest because we are highlighting our friend the Boosk, Thomas Booska's entry for this very project because it is insane. Have you seen anything about this yet, Taylor?
No.
So what you're looking at is a handmade composite case for the M1378. He's not using the Loki aluminum case. It's COPV, which I believe stands for Composite Overwrap Pressure Vessel. Is that right, Shane?
Yep.
So it's a bunch of solar sleeves around a mandrel to make the case. And the nose cone is similar. A bunch of solar sleeves around a mandrel that they are 3D printed, and I believe it's got an aluminum nose tip that he machined. Here's the let's see, the nozzle. This is a Loki part, correct? Or did he machine the carrier, the aluminum carrier?
I don't know.
I know the phenolic insert or the phenolic nozzle holder with the graphite insert is a Loki thing, but I think the aluminum is a Thomas Booska original. So if you're not watching it on YouTube, you're just listening, it's just a bunch of composite components, but it looks really, really cool, and we are excited to see this thing fly. How do you feel about that working, Taylor?
I don't know. I mean, it seems like it could work.
I will tell you that Thomas isn't convinced it's going to work, so you don't have to feel bad about saying you don't think it will. But I
mean, it might. I don't know. The case seems a little questionable, but
to his credit, though, he has done stuff like this, and like that nose cone design made it through. Well, whatever over Mach 3 is what the Sim said on his L1000 project, and he got it back. Thomas is just kind of Timothy Chalamet, if you will. He's cut from that fabric.
Wow.
Postart, what's it sim to right now?
I believe 98 or 99,000.
Wow.
So right up there with our 2-stage Taylor. And my N1560.
uh-huh.
Definitely not imaginary RAS arrow numbers. These are all very real, very attainable things.
I think that's only like 10,000 higher than it would go.
Really? I mean, it's a lot of impulse and not a lot of diameter. If you can make it work. And also, shout out to the Boosk, man. We affectionately call tip-to-tip layups tip-to-S in person because we're on that big fillet gang, even though I'm abandoning the big fillet gang for my N1560. But the Patreon and channel member people will be hearing about that after Balls and Midwest Power when I decide to really just go off the deep end on making that project a reality, since I now have the motor and the case and most of the stuff to build the rocket. It's time for this S to get real, I guess. Time for me to spend a bunch of money I don't have on vacuum bagging equipment. But yeah, so if you want to enter your project to be featured as the Anti-Gravity Group Podcast Rocketry Project of the Week, Patreon/channel member project of the week. I got to workshop the name a little bit. But you can join the Patreon or press the join button below on YouTube, and I will post a Discord link. You can join the Discord, and then I'll just have people firing them off in the personal projects channel over there on Discord. If you're already a member and already in the Discord, please send your personal projects over. We're going to scroll through them and pick one every once in a while. Matt, do you have a Discord account?
Yeah, I do.
I'm going to add you to the group. Taylor, you're already in it. I think Taylor's an admin, but he's just, never there. So,
Well, the problem is there's something wrong where I can access it on my computer, but not my phone, and I haven't quite sorted that out yet. So,
sick.
We'll get it situated.
Something about remembering a password, and I don't know. I just need to sit down. Maybe on the plane I'll figure that out.
There you go. Well, you got time. Okay, let's move on to the Patreon stuff and bring this home so we can go finish all of our balls projects, and Matt can, I don't know, go stretch for his triathlon or something.
Thank you, Braden. It's going to take a long time.
Yeah, I don't know what. Yeah,
Yeah.
whatever running people do.
Yeah.
And swimming and biking. I got to go grease my chain.
Eat a ton of grilled chicken. Okay. Lanza Kalina says
on Matt greasing his chain early.
Oh.
You just got, I don't know what to say to that.
Ass.
Anyway.
Lanza Kalina says, LDRS 39, you rocked it in alphabet challenges. Well, most motors launched off a different letter one in just that launch with the same rocket successfully recovered. I believe they amended it after to say that if they did it again, they would classify quarter A, half A, and A to all be in the same letter class. Oh, yeah, I guess that's fair. What about 8th A, dude? I want to see somebody so dedicated they start with a Micromax motor. Emma Humphrey says, chip can challenge. This is sick. I read this one earlier. Use single Pringles can as an airframe. Max altitude in 3 classes. Black powder 24mm, 29mm AP, and BP. And whatever motor you can fit into a Pringles can. Research allowed if you're flying under AAA rules. Yeah,
I like that.
That sounds sick.
Yeah.
I used to love the concept of a Pringles can rocket and motor adapter, but we don't need to talk about that. But that would be a real cheap one. Seems like if you don't have a 3D printer, almost everyone's got a homie with a 3D printer. So you could build a Pringles can rocket real cheap. I'm trying to see someone do a Pringles can with like a 75, or it is 3-inch. You can fit a motor case in it. So we need a minimum diameter Pringles can. That would be interesting. The unlimited class. Do we allow composites?
Well,
No.
I feel like you'd have to.
I
think that's the limiting factor because you need it to just be a stock Pringles can.
Yeah, because you can just wrap it with 5 layers of carbon and 3D printed nose cone and wrap that with 5 layers of carbon and call it a day.
I guess if you were doing a 75, you'd have to.
Yeah, there's motors you could theoretically make it work on, right?
Inburner.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Dang.
yeah.
Wow. Matt, what would you do for the Pringles can contest?
Blackjack.
All right. That's good to know. Matt has the insight that we all need here. Dude, I would be overwhelmingly tempted to use the lid as the nose cone and just forget about the altitude.
Oh.
What if it was part of the rules that you couldn't make a cone?
Dude, that's sick. I'm here for it. You just have to run a bolt through the lid. And everyone has to use Lexan fins, so it just looks like flying Pringles cans.
And you have to rear jacks using the lid.
Wow.
Dude, no way those are
God.
gonna snap.
Yeah.
That would be crazy. Kevin Turner says 3L challenge. One rocket flown on motors of all 3 levels at the same launch. See, this I'm into. That was like my biggest obsession with the Polecat 10-inch Fat Man when I was young, because it says I through M on the packaging. And I was like, challenge accepted. So if anybody happens to know someone that's got one kicking around, Chuck, if you're listening to this, Chuck has one. Hey, if you want to sell it, give me a call, paging Chuck. I will have that, please. But it's kind of a perfect rocket. But also, I was thinking about it. I've been talking to the Lock Precision guys, jokingly about just a mag, a 12-inch one. And you could do it with that, but you couldn't put any composites on it. That's where it gets dicey. But you could chuck that with an I-600.
Yeah.
Taylor's
It would be-
thinking.
Yeah. I mean, it wouldn't be that hard if you just used like a 5 or 6 inch rocket.
Yeah, that's true. But it's way more fun for it to be huge.
And
Yeah.
short, of course.
Add that to the contest ideas. It has to
I
be
guess-
at least 10 inches in diameter.
The better way to do that would be no composites allowed.
At least 10 inches in diameter. No composites allowed. But you have to fly it at Lucerne. So you can't go over 5,000
Oh,
feet. Or what is it, 7,000?
7. Yeah.
Taylor, I'm sure people are going to love the sound of you yawning into the microphone this entire podcast.
Just bleep it out. Just bleep it out.
Oh, just beep the whole time. You're right. That's better.
Yeah, it'd be perfect.
Spicoli says the Send It Challenge, I think at LDS 41. Yeah, I remember this, where the entire rocket had to fit in a 3-inch mailing tube and be shipped and assembled on site
that's
using the shipping tube for the body. I loved that concept.
That's
They were
That's
like
sick.
3D printed nose cones that came in 2 pieces so they could slide it inside. That's such a good one. Josh Sickles says, I really like the hamster dance contest at Balls. The concept is fun. Home-built motor with a certain maximum impulse and see who can get the highest. A lot of Longbird motors with rockets don't always get stable off the pad. A lot of cool designs that really push what they can do. They actually don't have the impulse limit anymore. It's just a weight limit. So a couple friends of ours are working on some pretty like gnarly end burner stuff to give it a shot. So I'm looking forward to that too. That was really fun to watch last year. I was like, I'm gonna make a video about this. Nobody ever makes a video about the hamster dance. So I interviewed Gary, I interviewed Bryce and another Bryce and a couple other people. And then I realized why nobody does it, because end burners don't make almost any smoke and all of the rockets are 500 feet away at Balls. So
Oh.
I couldn't film them at all. I was like, I see. So yeah, no hamster dance video. Sorry, everybody. Justin Gleeder says MDRA back in the 2000s used to do a mock madness contest at their launches. Rules were any rocket motor combination. Rocket had to ascend intact, no shreds, max Q disassembly, and stay under the waiver of 17,000 feet. You had to return your rocket and download the data. Rocket with the highest velocity wins. At the end of the year, they would award a baddest in the land to the overall highest velocity during that year. See, now we're talking. I'm really dwelling on like what would be the modern equivalent of this, because Mach 3 is like, it has to be the number, but it's also impossible for that to be the number.
Yeah.
All right. Well, while we're thinking about that, let's see here.
What about like a Price is Right type thing, where it's closest to Mach 3 without going over?
Oh, that'd be kind of, well, that's kind of how the mile contest works. I was going to say that'd be fun with altitude too. But yeah, that's a good one for speed. That's tough.
It wouldn't have to be Mach 3.
Closest to Mach 2.5 would be really difficult, actually.
Yeah.
Matt could do it for sure.
Yep.
You're welcome, Matt. Some food for thought. Send us an email, contact@aggpodcast.com, and we'll read them in the next mailbag segment with your contest ideas. I posted about it on Patreon. Remember, if you want to partake in these Patreon conversations, you don't have to be a paid member. You go to patreon.com/rockyvlogs and sign up for free. David Billia is our last entrance. He says, this seems like a perfect time to pitch my idea for the ultimate alphabet race. Build and fly everything from quarter A to O, with tiebreakers being total combined altitude. You would need to fly and recover the rocket before going up to your next size motor, and when you get it back, the rocket doesn't meet the criteria for a cert flight, you would need to restart the last successful flight at the rocket before the rocket that failed. This would likely take months to complete. If anyone is actually interested in doing this, I'm totally down. That is hardcore.
Yeah.
So does that mean if you fly your L motor rocket works, you fly the M and it fails, does that mean you have to do the L again and then go on to M again?
I think so.
Yeah.
It would be expensive. Wildly.
Dude, you're like, there's no prize in this contest. I spent $15,000 on it this year.
Yeah, imagine
I'm
like
at J.
Imagine the O doesn't work and you have to go back to N just to do O over again. You're like, oh,
It was going to
That's
take me another 4 years to get
$5,000.
another O3400.
yeah.
Unless you're going with the O5500, in which case you're spending $3,000 at a time.
Yep.
I mean, we can't afford to play, but if anybody wants to join David in that one, pop off. Good Lord. We have a couple emails, but I'm not sure if any of them are pertinent here. It doesn't look like it. Let me check the trash and spam because we keep getting stuff there. No, it looks like that's it. Anybody have anything else to say about contest rocketry?
No.
Nope.
All right, well, we got to go finish our projects for balls, and Matt has to go eat grilled chicken and stretch. My name is Braden Carlson. You can find me right here on YouTube on the Rocket channel. If you're not already there, you can follow me on Instagram and add me on Snapchat at BigB1011, and follow me on TikTok at Braden Carlson6. I haven't been posting a lot lately. I'm saving a whole bankroll of YouTube shorts and shorter format videos and stuff to upload the back half of November and through December. There's no reason to not be transparent about the fact that that's because the ad rates are way higher because of Christmas time. So get ready to be bombarded with a lot of YouTube shorts and stuff in November and December because your boy has been pre-spending that YouTube money on rockets. So we got to dig it out somehow.
My name is Taylor, and you can find me on YouTube at The Rocket Channel. And I have a bunch of videos that will come out after balls because I have no time to edit them right now.
My name is Shane or Postart. You can find me on YouTube at Postart Propulsions. There's a new video out that came out last week, and hopefully, assuming I can actually get it done before balls, another one coming out this week, and then another one the week after.
Whoa.
Pretty crazy.
Dude, the one after that is going to be crazy because it's going to be doing tip-to-tip carbon and flying it on an O the week before you fly it on an O.
Yeah.
Go subscribe to Postart and Taylor. We got to get them to 1,000 subscribers. Let's go.
All right.
I
And
just need 200 more.
nice. I'm
Postart needs like 850 more. Sorry, Matt.
Yeah.
Sorry.
no, my name is Matthew or
What,
my name is like
Go ahead.
Matthew or Macho Matt. Oh, and
Go ahead, Matt.
My name is Macho Matt, and you can find me right here. And I don't have any videos for anyone to see teams about
You can also
team.
find
That's
him at
tough.
a triathlon this weekend if you're wondering.
Yeah, if I'm
True,
in the
yeah.
water
Well,
swimming.
No, by the time they see this, it will have been last weekend.
Oh well.
Unless they're a Patreon member or
Yeah.
channel member, then they're seeing it before the weekend. So yeah,
We'll see
the
at a Rocket Launch
triathlon
game.
somewhere in the
You can
Kansas
also
City
find
area.
Matt at Midwest Power.
Yeah,
That
he's
is
gonna be
true.
there. He's really looking forward to that. Trying to
Dude,
get my
that's gonna be
S
crazy.
gear for that. Yeah.
Matt, do you have a car that could reasonably drive there? Because if we flew to
Yeah.
Kansas City first instead and helped load everything up, that would probably be easier.
Yeah. Yeah.
What
we can make
car?
that work. My
Are we talking about the
Subaru.
Subaru?
Yeah, that's the only option. Unless we drive Taylor's Subaru.
Let's check out some rental
No.
options.
All right. That's possibilities.
We are the Anti-Gravity Group. This is the Anti-Gravity Group podcast. Thank you guys so much for being here. We will see you next time.
We might just hear from Nigel the Rocket Cat. Load up the professional masterpiece, you can bet on that. A launch and a chat with them is guaranteed to be a blast. It's the Anti-Gravity Group podcast.